Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a fascinating and, frankly, a pretty sobering blueprint of our modern national challenges. We're looking at a piece of source material called Fractured Foundations. Now, if you've been watching the news lately, or even just trying to balance your own household budget, you know we're navigating a massive, tangled web of issues right now. So, what we're going to do today is take those overwhelming big picture concepts and really break them down. We want to genuinely understand the architecture behind these compounding crises. The skyrocketing cost of living serves as America's most immediate crisis. That quote right there sets a super urgent tone for us today. It really highlights how inflation and systemic strain aren't just, abstract concepts debated by economists in some boardroom. They are harsh, immediate realities hitting everyday citizens hard. Literally, everything we're going to explore today builds outward from this deeply personal pressure point. So, here's our roadmap. We're going to cover 1. The economic pressure cooker, 2. The healthcare financial burden, 3. Political gridlock and distrust, and 4. Society under severe strain. Let's get into it. Starting off with Section 1, the economic pressure cooker and a shrinking safety net. We're looking at a fundamental imbalance here, and it's physically setting the stage for nationwide strain. Think about it. You have stagnant wages, paychecks that just are not keeping up with reality, going head-to-head with skyrocketing costs for absolute essentials. We're talking groceries, utilities, and insurance. And the housing market? It's completely broken. Surging home prices and soaring rents are putting stable shelter totally out of reach for millions. It's this exact financial squeeze that's widening the wealth gap and leaving families with virtually zero safety net when things inevitably go wrong. Moving right along to Section 2, the healthcare financial burden, a systemic failure. So, what happens when families without a safety net hit a hurdle? They run right into a wall of compounding costs that attack their financial and physical survival. This isn't just a single annoying bill. It's a massive structural burden. Everyday citizens are getting absolutely crushed by high insurance premiums, massive deductibles that you have to pay out of your own pocket before any coverage even kicks in, and insanely steep prescription drug prices. And remember, we aren't talking about luxury items here. This is basic human maintenance, and the financial toll is just staggering. Which leads us to this incredibly tragic domino effect. The healthcare burden narrative basically plays out in 3 steps. Step 1, you get hit with those unaffordable out-of-pocket costs we just talked about. That leads directly to Step 2, where patients are literally forced to skip necessary medical care. They don't fill a vital prescription or they ignore a scary symptom simply because they can't afford the deductible. Inevitably, that neglected care blows up into a massive emergency, bringing us to Step 3, devastating financial ruin. It's wild to think about a healthcare system turning from a place of healing into a literal engine for financial collapse. And to really hammer that home, just look at this statistic. Medical debt is the #1 leading cause of personal bankruptcy in the entire nation. Let that sink in for a second. It's not bad investments. It's not wild credit card spending sprees on things people don't need. Just getting sick or injured is the primary driver pushing Americans into total insolvency. It perfectly and tragically sums up that healthcare burden narrative we just tracked. And that brings us to the ultimate paradox. The United States has the highest per capita healthcare spending globally. We pay more than anyone else on the planet. But the return on that massive investment? Lagging health outcomes and a lower life expectancy. We are quite literally paying the absolute most, but objectively getting less in terms of actual health and longevity. It is a profound systemic inefficiency. All right, on to Section 3. Political gridlock and distrust, the governance crisis. Now, you might be asking yourself, if the economy and healthcare are failing everyday people so badly, why aren't lawmakers fixing it? Well, the source material points directly to hyper-partisanship. We're talking about ideological divides so incredibly deep that they completely paralyze the political system. This extreme division acts like a roadblock, actively preventing leaders from passing meaningful, long-term solutions to the exact urgencies we just outlined. Governance is effectively crippled. And because of that paralyzing gridlock, there's a really dangerous side effect, a total collapse of public trust. Citizens are watching this dysfunction unfold, and they are losing faith across the board. They're losing faith in Congress to legislate, in the judiciary to be impartial, and in the media to actually inform them. When the foundational institutions designed to hold society together stop working, the trust evaporates. On top of that, structural mechanisms like money in politics and the practice of gerrymandering act like a giant buffer. They isolate the government from the actual will of the voters. It creates this bubble where elected officials are shielded from the everyday realities and the harsh crises their constituents are facing. It just deepens that huge divide between the governed and the governing. Which brings us to our final part, Section 4, Society under Severe Strain and Concurrent Crises. The fabric of American society is currently bearing the immense weight of several emergencies, all happening at the exact same time. You have the opioid and fentanyl epidemic devastating communities, and completely overwhelming local emergency networks. The very same healthcare networks we already established are buckling under financial strain. Add to that the persistent, terrifying threat of gun violence in schools and neighborhoods. And on top of all that, the escalating financial and physical costs of climate change and extreme weather. It is just a relentless barrage. And hey, if the social fabric wasn't strained enough, let's look at the physical fabric of the country. To put this into perspective, trillions, yes, trillions with a T, are required right now just to upgrade failing physical infrastructure. We are essentially trying to survive 21st century social and economic emergencies while standing on a literally crumbling foundation. So that leaves us with one incredibly provocative question. With foundations this fractured across our economy, our healthcare system, our politics, and our broader society, which cracks do we even repair first? It's like a giant puzzle. The interconnectivity of these monumental challenges means you can't really fix one piece without addressing the whole shebang. It's definitely a lot to process, but understanding how all these pressures connect is absolutely the first step toward figuring out a way forward. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I hope this gave you a clearer, sharper lens to view the complexities of the modern challenges we're facing.